Hello and welcome back to the Minnesota Twins franchise on MLB The Show 17. Today's episode is one that I have been looking forward to as we approach the end of July, which means we have reached the trade deadline. And with this team in rebuilding mode, this is a time for us to get prospects for the future and try to improve our chances moving forward. But that also means that we may have to part way with some veterans that have been mainstays on the team for a while. As we all know, the Twins' best trading asset is second baseman Brian Dozier, who is 29 years old, hits with a lot of power. He is under contract through this season and next season, and he is the player that we could receive the most for. There are also players like Ervin Santana and Phil Hughes who could help out a rotation in need as they make a playoff push, although those players haven't played phenomenal this season. Ultimately, we only had one player who can make a big difference for us when it comes to trading and acquiring more prospects. So I knew with Brian Dozier we had one chance at this and it had to be done right. So I went through a number of different rosters to find if there was an opportunity for us to trade Dozier and help us out in the future. I had to get starting pitching talent. That was the number one priority. For a player like Brian Dozier, I wanted the centerpiece of the trade to be a top prospect who was a starting pitcher. I didn't want to trade him for anything less. So I found a team with an opportunity. The LA Dodgers this year are playing phenomenal baseball and they are looking to make a World Series push. At second base, they have Logan Forsythe, who's hit .259 this season. Now, Dozier has hit less, but he hits with, of course, great power, and he would be, of course, under contract through next season. They also have a great starting rotation, but a top prospect in the minors, Yadier Alvarez, who is at their AAA affiliate. They had another intriguing prospect in first baseman Cody Bellinger, but they were not interested in packaging both those players together in a possible deal. So that wasn't on the table, but I was very interested in Alvarez. He's a 21-year-old pitcher with great potential, throws a fastball, slider, changeup. He has good velocity, he can get strikeouts, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want a leader of this rotation who can get strikeouts and overpower, and Alvarez certainly has the ability to become that. There were other teams I checked on that had starting pitching options, but ultimately Alvarez was the one I had the most interest in. I like that strikeout upside, he already has great velocity, and he's been playing great at AAA this season. So after a lot of thought, we offer the trade to the Dodgers, and they accept. Brian Dozier is now a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers as we acquire starting pitcher Yadier Alvarez and relief pitcher Wilmer Font. Alvarez was the main player I wanted, but they were willing to have Font in the deal as well, who is a 26-year-old AA reliever, doesn't have a ton of potential, but he has a lot of break on his slider. He's also had a very good year with a .241 ERA. He has played in the majors a little bit a few years ago. In the case of Alvarez, he has yet to make his major league debut, but I assume it won't take very long for that to change. He has pitched only 28 innings this year, a .321 ERA, and we are going to promote him to the AAA roster and look to have him on the team as a September call-up. There are a few different players I want to see called up in September, including Steven Gonsalves. Hopefully he turns around this cold streak he's in right now, but he's the best lefty arm I think in our system right now, and I really want to see him play against Major League competition. But with the roster spot available now at the Major League level, I decided why not call up Daniel Palca, who has obviously become a AA All-Star this year. He's hit almost 300 at AAA. Let's give him a chance now at the roster spot opening. We have some utility infielders already, so I didn't have to call up a second baseman to replace Dozier. I then sent Tyler J to AAA, who has had a phenomenal year at AA. And we put Eduardo Escobar now as the everyday second baseman. He's a player I've wanted to see more of, and now we should see plenty. Also, Danny Santana could play second base if need be. Now, there were other players that I thought about trading, and Phil Hughes was one, Ervin Santana another, but there weren't any offers here that really impressed me. Yes, the Angels did offer a 19-year-old B potential center fielder. The Braves offered a young B potential starting pitcher. However, these are players that probably wouldn't be ready for a couple years at the least, and I think these players still have some value to us now, especially with multiple years left on the contract. Santana will be with us next year, and Hughes, I think, for 2 more after this if he's not traded. So what I mean is the opportunity will still be there for them to be traded. Maybe the value goes down a little bit, but in the case of Hughes, I think that he'll hold his value with the multiple years left. At the deadline, the Dozier deal was one of only 2 major deals to happen. The other one was the Mariners acquiring George Springer from the Astros for 3 different players. So now with Dozier in Los Angeles, we have a need at second base, and the most intriguing second baseman in our system would be A-Ray Adrianza, who just got sent down to AA because he was struggling at AAA. So we're going to have to figure out second base. And as we wrap up the deadline, Byron Buxton suffers a minor injury in our very next game against the Padres. A game where Fernando Romero had the best start of his career, a complete game, 1-run victory as the Twins beat the Padres. So with Buxton hurt, I had to quickly make a decision, and I chose to put Daniel Palca at his spot in center field, have him bat lower in the lineup, and have Danny Santana lead off. So we are going to jump into a couple games in this episode, with the first being against the Texas Rangers here at Target Field. Twins at 41-67, Rangers 9 games below 500. On the mound we have Hector Santiago as his ERA is all the way down to 4.08. Unfortunately for us, he's only on a 1-year contract. Here's Carlos Gomez. You know what he wants to do, lay down a bunt, force Miguel Sano to charge it, and the throw is not in time as Gomez gets to first and looks to take second, but Jason Castro, with one of his best throws all season, throws him out at second. An absolutely perfect throw from Castro, cannot do it better than that. We were up against AJ Griffin in this matchup, and here is your new face of Twins baseball, if he wasn't already. Miguel Sano having the breakout season, now with no Brian Dozier. This really is becoming Sano's team. We have an offense now much more focused on power than they used to be, and Sano is at the forefront of that as he strikes out here on a curveball in the dirt. Griffin's curveball is very annoying. Let's go into the second. Santiago on the mound, gets the ground ball off the bat of Chu, and the Twins go 6-4-3 with Santana and Escobar handling the throws. Max Keppler now the cleanup hitter for us, another player who provides a lot of power. And with Dozier out, we need Sano and Keppler to lead this offense as the 3 and 4 hitters. Now Joe Mauer goes up into the number 2 role, and he has had a really good season, one of his best in years. Byung-Ho Park is another player with a lot of power that can still deliver a lot for us, as he sends one deep out to right field, and that ends up going foul. Then with an 0-2, Park again skying one. This one will stay fair, but it won't go as far as it's a lazy fly out. Here is Eduardo Escobar, the new everyday second baseman who has hit .273 this year. He had a 4-for-5 day in a game last episode. Here he flies out to center routinely to Carlos Gomez. Eddie Rosario has shown a lot more power than I expected this season, but he grounds this to second, and Odor rebounds to make the play. Twins can't get a run. Let's go on to the third, as Santiago gives up a single here to put 2 on for the Rangers. Then DeShields looks to bunt, but skies it up for Castro. They get 1 down. Next up, Elvis Andrus, who softly grounds it, basically a bunt, better than the actual bunt from DeShields, and Santiago is not even close. So the base is loaded, a jam here for Hector Santiago, as this goes to Santana, but they cannot turn 2 on Carlos Gomez. Again, he narrowly reaches. With a 1-1 count, fastball there, swung on and missed. Santiago trying to finish the inning, but he gives up a big fly that stays fair and clanks off the foul pole. Rougned Odor makes it a 4-0 game suddenly in just the 3rd inning. One thing I have to figure out this year is which young pitchers are going to get their chance in September and which veterans are going to step back a little. Let's go ahead with Minnesota. Daniel Palca at bat. has a hit in just a few at-bats so far, as he is making the start now in the place of Buxton. With an 0-1, Palca swings and misses at the fastball up in the zone, falls behind. Then with a 1-2, late on the curveball, as that one could have been crushed if he were to catch up to it. Griffin's curveball gave us a lot of problems, and we had a very tough time just making contact against him. Sometimes in baseball you just need some luck to go your way, and that's exactly what happens here, as Santana, with a grounder that takes a really awkward hop into right field. Next up, Joe Mauer down left field line, and that will be our second straight 2-out hit, as Santana hustles into third base to make it first and third for Miguel Sano. Sano looking for a 30 home run, 100 RBI season, as he misses on the cutter, falls behind, and chases the inside fastball to leave 2 runners aboard. We're going to jump ahead now to the 6th inning, the next at-bat here for Sano, as he is a bit in front of this, pulls it foul, and then takes a fastball close. Full count. And then a big breaking ball as he just pounds it on the ground to third base, and the Twins continue to struggle against A.J. Griffin. Max Keppler had been on a hot streak as of late, and Griffin was even able to cool off his hitting as he continues to keep the Twins scoreless. I still want to see more of Trevor Hildenberger before I send him down again, potentially with the ERA around 7. Lefties hitting near 400 against him, but it is a low sample size. Here he stops the ground ball back up the middle and takes care of the play. Another thing so far is he's averaging more than a strikeout per inning. Here he gets ahead in the count to Ryan Rua, and then gets him to pop up wide of the chalk, and Mauer easily gloves this. Looking for a 1-2-3 inning, as Andrews looks at a circle change that was in a good location, but then chases the slider. They get to a 2-2 count, and Andrews grounds it back to Hildenberger, who makes his second stop of the inning, and it was a great inning of work for him. They couldn't get it past the pitcher's mound. Still, though, our offense stuck at 2 hits, can't get going against A.J. Griffin, as Eduardo Escobar grounds one through the middle for just our 3rd hit of the game. Next is Eddie Rosario, takes the breaking ball into right center, and this gets down for extra bases. Escobar rounding second, and he holds up at third, but 2 in scoring position for Minnesota, and Daniel Palca at bat with a great opportunity. However, he falls behind again, 0-2. And we wave at the 12-6 curveball. Palca strikes out, but still a sac fly opportunity, as Castro sends this to right center with some carry. It is caught by Gomez, and we do get our first run of the game. Now with Hildenberger, what's happened is he's had a great first inning of work, and I want to see a second because he didn't need so many pitches. However, now missing his spots, falls behind 0-2, and then one is sent to deep right and gone. Okay, I think I finally figured it out. Hildenberger, he's a 1-inning guy right now, and that 1 inning is pretty good. Enough to make you want a second, but it hasn't worked out. Texas scores the victory. A.J. Griffin threw a phenomenal game, and the Twins fall 5-1. Of course, our offense hasn't been the same as of late, and they're going to need to try and recover without the help of Brian Dozier. As we continue on, the Rangers beat us in the next game by a score of 3-2. At least we had better pitching this time, as Romero had another 6-inning outing, allowing 2 runs. Then against the Milwaukee Brewers, our offense definitely got going with 4 home runs, including 1 from Daniel Palca. And Hector Santiago gets the victory, going 6 innings, allowing 2 runs. However, then we run into the Detroit Tigers, and Romero has a really rough day, allowing 7 over 3 innings. We do get Byron Buxton back after around a week and a half, so Daniel Palca in that time played 10 games, hit .242 in 33 at-bats, so not terrible. I certainly like getting him this experience and still keeping him around as a bench player. Now, as we get into the middle of August, the Twins go on a little winning streak as they beat Cleveland 7-2 behind a good outing from Fernando Romero, 6 innings and 2 runs, but then we shut out Arizona, not once, but twice, as Kyle Gibson goes complete game shutout. Then Tyler Duffy pitches 7 innings of shutout ball. he made a start as we had a pitcher with a minor injury that missed one start. So we had a chance to go for the sweep at home against the Arizona Diamondbacks and give the Twins fans something to cheer about. Phil Hughes on the mound after not being traded, still has a couple years left on his deal, but has not had a great season with a 5.40 ERA. Great job there by Danny Santana as he catches the line drive off the bat of A.J. Pollock. With 2 down, fastball there on the corner to Paul Goldschmidt. And gets him to miss the knuckle curveball. How about that? Good first inning here for Phil Hughes. In this game, the Diamondbacks have Shelby Miller on the mound, a 3.19 ERA and a whip around 1.3. Miguel Sano hammering lefties this year, struggling a lot more against righties. Miller gets the fastball by him here at 95. Then the 1-2, he hangs inside, and Sano sends it out to left field for a solo homer to give the Twins a 1-run lead. There is the current face of Twins baseball with his 27th home run of the season. Miller here trying to go inside to get the strikeout, but Sano doesn't mind that it's not in the zone, and he sends it out off that LED board. So a 1-0 lead for Minnesota as Hughes gets a deep fly ball to go over the head of Eddie Rosario. However, the throw coming in and the relay is enough to get the runner out at second base. Rosario is a player who I think has surprised me the most this season, and he's only 26, he still has time to develop. Hughes then gets ahead of the next batter, and that is swung at in the dirt as the batter cannot hold back, and Hughes gets another strikeout. 2 down in the second, and he quickly gets ahead once again. Here's the 1-2, knuckle curve on the corner. What a strong opening for Phil Hughes, despite some hard hit contact, the defense bailing him out. As we jump ahead to the fourth, 2-0 Minnesota. How about Eduardo Escobar? A phenomenal defensive showing by the Twins here against the D-backs. Escobar is the reason why I saw no need to call anybody up. Here with 2 down, trying to finish off another inning. There's a big fly from Jake Lamb, deep right center, and Buxton watches this tower into the upper deck. Absolutely hammered as Hughes gives up one that the defense can't save. Lamb crushes his 26th home run of the season to make it 2-1. Let's head into the 5th now as the Diamondbacks continue to hit Hughes hard when they do make contact. Hazelbaker doubles, then steals third, followed by a base hit to right that ties the game at 2. Diamondbacks say they're not done. Here is a ground ball getting past Mauer at first that allows Owings to round second and get on to third base. Again, this 5th inning giving us a lot of trouble. But a strikeout from Hughes gets the first out. After walking the bases loaded, ground ball up the middle from Peralta gets through. This scores 1, the second coming around. Buxton throws, not in time. And the Diamondbacks create a 2-run lead. Thankfully, Hughes was getting the strikeouts today as Goldschmidt waves at the cutter. 2 down in the inning. And Jake Lamb goes down swinging as well as Hughes does strike out the side but allows some runs in the process. Twins trailing 4-2 in the 5th. How about this from Eddie Rosario? A no-doubt shot to right field. Way out of here. Rosario has put up way more home runs this year than I could have ever expected. He might be a 25 home run guy when it's all done this year. That's his 19th, 444 feet. Over his first 2 seasons in Minnesota, he had 23 combined home runs. This team may be rebuilding, but it's a lot of fun to watch these players develop. Let's jump into the 8th inning. Still a 1-run game. Now it's 5-4 Arizona as Byron Buxton delivers a single the other way. Good to have him back in producing. Then Joe Mauer with Buxton taking off as he sends this into the gap. And it gets down! Buxton flying! And you know he's going to score. A double for Joe Mauer. And a perfect hit and run. We get aggressive and it pays off big time, but it almost came back to hurt us. 5-5. Max Keppler with a blooper into center that gets down. Mauer holds at third, but runners at the corners and a chance to take the lead and set up a save. We give this opportunity to Daniel Palca as he comes off the bench with one down and misses the 95-mile-per-hour heat. Then misses another fastball down the middle, falls behind, pulls this to first, and with an extra throw, they go 3-1, 6-3 double play to end the inning. I really wanted to see Palca get us that go-ahead run, but the D-backs pull off this. Why the extra throw? So we head into the ninth, tie game, Michael Tonkin on the mound as this goes deep to left center. Rosario gives chase and makes the catch deep in the gap. Trying to finish off the inning? How about that? Sinker on the corner. Tonkin wraps up the ninth, and the Twins look to win. A 2-1 count here to Escobar as he stays patient, gets ahead in the count, and gets a little lucky that this curveball is not called, and he walks on to first base. Twins have the winning run on first as Santana grounds it past the pitcher, and they can get the out at second, but can't double up Danny. It's a fielder's choice. With two down, here's Jason Castro as he misses the 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Santana takes off, and Castro goes down swinging. We're going to extra innings here in Minnesota. On the mound, Matt Belisle, who hits Jake Lamb and gives him a free pass. So the Diamondbacks now with a runner on base. They get a ground ball past Escobar into right field. So 2-1 for Arizona. Belisle trying to work out of trouble, gets the 0-2, but not the call on the corner. Then a 2-2 count. Fastball, you won't bite. Full count. Ground ball to Escobar. There's Santana back to first and a fielder's choice. So runners at the corners, two down for Chris Owings, who already drove in a run earlier. Owings looks at the sweeping curve for strike one, falls behind, and fouls off the fastball. Then Belisle gets him again on the sweeping curve to finish off the top of the 10th inning. Belisle has had a very good season for us, and here's that strikeout once again. The Twins doing a very good job of getting the strikeouts in this game. But could they win it in 10? Here's Miguel Sano with two down, who homered earlier in the first inning, as he waves at the slider. Then on 1-1, misses the slider again. Sano falls behind 1-2, and then gets a hold of one deep to left field, and walks off Minnesota with the victory. Sano begins the game with a home run and ends it in walk-off fashion as the Minnesota Twins sweep the Arizona Diamondbacks. 4 straight victories for Minnesota, and Miguel Sano continues a fantastic season as he nears 30 home runs on the year. The Twins celebrate around home plate. It's nice to see this team have something to celebrate. They've had another tough season. They just traded away one of their best players, but there is still reason to believe this team can turn it around. And the turnaround centers around that man right there, Miguel Sano, the face of Twins baseball, and the hero on this day, a 2-for-5 afternoon as he sends out 2 solo home runs that make the ultimate difference. We now have about 6 weeks to go on the season. Plenty of games against the White Sox as we are battling it out for 4th place in the AL Central. We'll probably spend some time in the month of September with a lot of young players who are going to get some opportunities. I'm sure we'll make it there next episode unless something crazy happens. And it's nice to see Joe Mauer now hitting .301 for us on the season. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this team now as we enter the final stages of year 1. We've seen the draft, we've seen the trade deadline, so we have an idea of what the roster is going to look like, partially for next year, of course, still an off season to go through. But I think we have an idea of the players we're trying to build around. And with Alvarez down at AAA, I'm keeping an eye on how his starts are going. Here was his latest 5 innings, allowing 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. I'm hoping to have him have a couple more starts at AAA and then call him up in September, and we'll see him make his Major League debut for us, along with a number of other players. Unfortunately, Jorge Polanco is still struggling even at AAA, so I'm not sure if he'll come back to the majors anytime this season. I expect for us to spend a lot of time with our young pitchers throughout this organization. And I'm really excited to see what Yadier Alvarez can do, as he is now our second top 50 prospect. Down at AA, I continue to pay attention to Torrey Hunter Jr., who continues to play well for us since being traded for a couple months earlier in the series. We may have to spend some time down at Chattanooga because we have some very good pitching going on there, including Alberto Mejia now having a better end to his season playing some AA ball, and Wilmer Font's numbers look like this. I believe that team is going to the playoffs, so I might want to spend a little time with them at least, because they have some really good players that might be part of our future. But that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. Leave your feedback down in the comment section. Please leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.